Hey everyone, it's Steve from the garden. In this video, I'm going to be doing an experiment where I'm going to plant some garlic in a container, and then next year, provided the garlic survives the winter, I will compare those to my in-ground garden where I plant them in my raised beds. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you how I am keeping my carrots in a container through the winter so I can harvest them as needed. This is where I planted my garlic for the coming season. I'd use the same type of method as I did last year, and I'll put a link up to that video up here. But the main gist of it is that I came in 5 inches from the side and from the back, and I planted the cloves 6 inches apart, and then 6 inches between each row. And then once I got done with the planting, I put a nice thick layer of wood mulch on top to suppress weeds and hold in moisture, and it'll provide a little bit of insulation to the plants if they start growing through the winter time. What prompted this video is I've had commenters say the challenges they've had trying to grow garlic in a container, that it just doesn't work as well. And I've never grown garlic in a container myself, so I thought I'll do an experiment this year to see if I can get it to work, and if it does, how does that compare to like in my raised bed. One of the challenges in growing garlic in a container, I think, is that a container like this will go through more temperature changes. It'll go through more freeze-thaw cycles, which can either rot the cloves or stunt their growth just because the temperature changes quite a bit. Once the temperatures do warm up in the spring, the container should maybe grow a little bit faster just because it will warm up faster than my raised bed will. This is the container I'm going to use for growing garlic over the winter time. It's approximately 17 gallons. Over the summer, I did grow buckwheat in here to just kind of maintain the soil. So I'm gonna have to clear that out first before I can start planting. Basically, this stuff has been dead for months now, and I should be able to just kind of pull it out and put this off to the side. With the buckwheat vegetation cleared out, I'm just gonna add some balanced organic fertilizer to this and mix it in. I am out of bone meal at the moment, so I'm not going to add any of that in. If I had it, I would have added some extra bone meal to this mix, just to aid with like root development. For the variety of garlic I'm going to plant, it's going to be the Georgia Fire. And the idea here will be to keep the garlic cloves as close to the center area of the pot as possible, because the center should experience the least amount of temperature changes versus getting them too close to the edge where they'll definitely get more exposed to the freezing. And being in the Chicago area, it definitely gets cold here over the winter time. We get bad ground freezes. So we'll do one right in the very center, and then I will space a total of 4 around there, keeping a good distance between the cloves, but also keeping a good distance away from the edge. So just cover those up, 5 cloves, and I'll give this a good watering now. With the pot well watered in, I'm going to put some leaves on the top first. Now, I don't know that this will make much difference overall, but I want to add some leaves to the top. And then I'll cover them with the wood chips because the leaves will break down over the winter time. And these are all pretty dry, so I'm going to add a little bit more water to the leaves to help aid the breakdown. The leaves are watered in, so now I'll add some wood chips. This is actually the wood chips I used to cover the bed last year. There's still a good amount of them, and there's a little bit of a soil mixed in with them from the garden bed. But that level will be pretty good. It brings it right up to the top. So even if we get a good snow or wind or whatever, it shouldn't blow them out. And we got, I'm guessing, maybe 2 inches of depth on the wood chips. So these are ready until spring. With the container garlic finished, I'm going to move on to how I'm storing the carrots over the winter time so I can harvest them when I need to. And the main key to this is that I moved them into my garage. This is another 17-gallon container. I started these carrot seeds the beginning of July. That way they had plenty of time to kind of size up. Then once we got cold, And just before is gonna have our first like hard freeze, I moved them from outside on the patio where the garlic is growing now to the garage here. Now this is an attached garage, so the temperature in here through the winter time stays between 30 and 55 degrees. Just a regular shop light here on a timer for about 16 hours a day, just to maintain the top growth so it stays green. The carrots really won't grow much at all, if at all, in the container with this amount of light. It's really just to kind of maintain them. And because the temperature doesn't really get the freezing in here, the soil stays loose without freezing, and I can pull carrots whenever I need them. This is about as close as I can come to the conditions of a root cellar in my house. To bring you in for a closer look, you can see the carrot tops in there. Now I have pulled carrots out of here when I needed them. But, you know, just looking at the top part of the plant, you can see like how big the carrots get. Now I do need a couple for dinner tonight, so we'll go ahead and pull one of these. So, I mean, that's not a bad sized carrot, especially for a container. And we have another nice one here. This will be an orange one. Now this one's not as long, but it's good enough. It's got a good thickness to it. And we'll do one more. Now I do try to pull the bigger ones. And then the little ones, you know, maybe they can grow a little bit bigger under this grow light. So this is what I'm keeping for today. This is all I need for the current meal. I have tried growing carrots indoors only in a container before, and that did not work well. The carrots just didn't size up enough. And I believe the main two problems there was I just don't have an intense enough light to really get the plants going and give them enough light to grow the roots out. And I believe the other problem I had is I planted them a little bit too densely. Even though I had thinned them out, I would have to thin them out a lot more so that each plant can get more light. So for me, starting them in a container outdoors early and then bringing them in once it gets too cold is about the best compromise I can have. That way they get natural sunlight, they can size up as best they can in the container. I bring them indoors, I can harvest them through the winter because it doesn't freeze. So that's the end of this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer them. And until next time, I hope you enjoyed, got something out of this, and we'll see you on the next one.